Alright, so what I should have checked before I put it down. See, look, my tourist income is 700. I'm spending 15,000 a week on a space elevator. My tourist income is 750 bucks. The Mamba. All these long City Skyline streams are real marathon. That's good. I like puns. Keep it coming. Alright, a lot of bus traffic through here. As long as it's only buses, that's not too bad. And I was worried that connecting over here might force more traffic down here. But the buses are definitely manageable. Oh, and the other thing I can do at this point is go into my transit thing, click on a line, say this line over here. Car trip saved, 0%. No one would have taken a car trip over here. Now the question is, are these buses full regardless? Because they might be full of tourists. Answer, no they're not. My tourist industry is really not working out at all. Missed some of this yesterday's stream, all this stream up to now. What apocalypse thing? Oh, so we had some water pollution in our system, which caused people to become ill. Now, apparently that had been like that for a really long time, and we didn't really notice, but it was starting to stress the health system more and more, and then we sort of got in the snowball status where people weren't getting treated at hospital quickly enough so they'd die, and I think the dead bodies were then making other people sicker by being nearby, so it rapidly snowballed. So right now, we've got 406 citizens. Well, at our peak, we're at like 10,006 citizens. We couldn't get them fast enough. And then we also couldn't bury them fast enough because we've got, you know, our death capacity. Actually, I don't know if our number of deceased ever exceeded our crematorium capacity, but it was very high. And so we weren't able to pick up the bodies quickly enough to resolve that. And then people were dying, which meant we had less citizens. And also because, you know, the environment is such crap with all the dead bodies around, other people were actually leaving the city. And because of our population tanked, we went bankrupt. Wow. You know what I really want in this game? Are like EU4 or CK2 style little like pop-down flags that like show you like an actual disaster. Not just a little pop-up here, but like, listen, there's actually a house, or there's a building not being serviced by water. Just like keep it up there. Or maybe a number, like a little water icon and like number, like 12. And if you click, it like centers your view on one of them. You can keep cycling through those things. That would be really nice. And another one for abandoned buildings. So you just cycle through all your abandoned buildings and find them. Buildings on fire, building with an excess of sick people or dead people. You know, those sorts of like alert tabs like they have in EU4 and CK2. Because like I know there was just a tweet. I didn't see it because I filtered this stuff out now. Because yeah, okay, great, Parks and Recs, awesome, good stuff. And I don't mind the flavor that it brings, but you can't have like flavor events in the same place, or flavor notifications in the same place as like critical alert notifications that must be dealt with, or else your city's going to explode, which is what happened. So let's go ahead and put down some more offices. We've got some demand for it. And people are continuing to sort of level up the residential zones. So they want more jobs, so we'll go ahead and do that. Bit of a demand for commercial as well. I put commercial there on this inner loop here. Just trying to avoid getting too close to residences. Something like that, and then I'll put some offices on the other side because there's residences right here. Apparently the offices may even help to just block out some of the noise pollution just by sort of getting in the way. I do love this building. It's one of my favorites in the game. So, how's our tourism income? It's dropped. So I don't know. I mean, we have an airport, we have a harbor, we have several touristy buildings. I actually don't know what to do for the tourists. There's obviously passenger service 6. I mean, there's obviously a mechanic for it. You just don't know what it is. We have a science center and an expo center right over here. I mean, they're getting some visitors. There's not the tourist map mode, is there? There's population info. What's the color? Oh, mostly adults. Oh, that's an interesting one. If we ever found a block that was mostly seniors. See, look at this. all these buildings here are mostly seniors because they were built at the same time. So part of me suspects they might age up at the same time, so we might get a whole lot of death in one area. I did notice that at one point when I was doing the sort of hour-long run just to make sure that everything was stable, where I didn't really play the game, I was just watching and trying to understand what was going on. Ooh, housing value complaint over here. Really? Why? Noise pollution might be a little high. Also, you don't really have a park nearby. Wow, the noise pollution from over here is critical. Yeah, I mean, you technically have park coverage, but why don't I just replace... You're complaining about something? I've got a solution for dealing with complainers. I'm going to replace your house with a park. Oh, I suppose I could have also upgraded these roads, because that contributes to housing quality. So yeah, so I did notice that there were a few situations where, even though my health was really good, like my city was like 400 sick people, capacity 5,000, I'd still get a situation where I'd look at a block and like an entire block would be dead. And I think what was happening is literally just too many people aging up simultaneously. These houses are probably getting a lot of noise pollution. They're sandwiched between two commercial zones. Poor guys. So look one way. Voila. Raise taxes in commercial zones. You have tourists, and didn't one of the devs say to raise taxes when you get tourists? That's actually a good point. Theoretically, tourists should make commercial zones happier. Plus, we've got a demand for commercial zones. So let's raise the commercial zone tax up to 12%. If they are happy because of tourists, then we can milk them a little bit more. We don't get really good feedback about exactly how happy they are. Oh, people live here? Near the airport? Poor guys. Oh, that is bad. I think they're just going to maybe have to deal with it, but we will go ahead and put down some tree-lined streets on the off chance that it helps a bit. It definitely says that they might be getting sick from this noise pollution. I should probably move them away from the airport. There's a lot of houses over here. No, that's not really going to make a difference, but... After that, they're complaining about noise pollution. And theoretically... It's funny that they're not all doing it, though. These guys are, these guys aren't. It does say it's making them sick. There we go. Now you can't complain anymore. Your house is a park. So with replacing these houses, we might get a little dip in population, but overall, things are okay. I'm playing a lot more... What? Really? See, these are the sort of alerts that would be useful. Oh, look at that! A little tiny gap in the water coverage. Oh, and some more over there. Let's bring it down like that and do one of those in case we ever fill all that stuff up. Policies, quill policies. Use them. Yeah, it's a good point. I don't think I want any of these anywhere. Can encourage high-tech housing. Increase land value. Upkeep. 4 cents a residential building. Oof. I mean, we can tax relief or raise taxes for things, like in areas, but I can probably just raise commercial taxes overall. Oh, let's put in the smoking ban. Well, health is really good right now. Education boost is fine. The free public transit, I don't think I want to do just because it brings in huge amount of money. 23 grand a week on the public transit. Buy a space elevator. Thanks for subscribing. I already did. It's over here. Look at that. Ta-da! It's servicing passengers. See, I think a bunch of people just spawned out of here. I think that the space elevator is like an airport. Which I guess is fine. It's not what I expected from the description. It's actually kind of cool that it works that way. I mean, maybe it's a bug. Maybe it's supposed to be a tourist attraction, but it's not. Oh, that building got abandoned. That's one of those places that was complaining about land value. Still lots of demand for offices. Why don't we build some over here? Actually, I think it's fine to do something like this. I don't want to get too close to the incinerator, but oops. But that's not too close. I'll need water. Oh, no, they will. Right over here. And yeah, I still want to maybe fill in a few more of these gaps here. And actually, I could do this with offices pretty easily. Just a little bit. I mean, we'd have to maybe build some roads here to really get people to... let's try and avoid building right on some of this because it can slow down traffic as people go in and out. Balavala! Thank you very much for subscribing. Oh, that's a bridge. Right. Well, let's go ahead and do this. Hopefully, you know, ambulances might plug up some of that traffic, but it's not as bad as commercial. Commercial, they got all the deliveries and stuff. The offices don't really get that. So hopefully it's okay. Could maybe run a road back here and sneak in some more offices. Let's go ahead and do that. Two-way. We're gonna go... Oh, we got a park in the way. Take you. It's gonna bulldoze a building, so I feel a little bad about that. Not bad enough to not do it, of course. So if I tuck you in there... No. We gotta go a little further. There we are. Something like that. And then... They're not gonna be the biggest of buildings because... the block size isn't big enough. Mansarius, thanks for the sub. How many people we got right now? Wow, back up to 10,000. Crazy sauce. And again, I will say, if you are new to everything I do, most of what I do is on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe. YouTube.com/Quill18. That's where you'll find most of my stuff. Okay, we actually are basically out of office demand. I think it'll kick back in though. This is residential. We got some office over here. We want another commercial block. I'm just trying to find a good, safe place to put it. Well, maybe what I'll do is extend out here. No, just drag that out for now. Like that. And make this some commercial areas. Noise pollution shouldn't bother anyone out here. We may want to have another highway connection way over here. In fact, I think I will. So this is a highway connection. This allows people to leave and enter. Oh, that's right, because I did here, I did an enter and leave. And there's a leave and enter from the other side. I guess we can do something very similar over here. Where we do a on-ramp. We can use the straight tool, actually. I think that'll be fine. Something like that. And then... let me grab a one-way. Like that. We can't go straight through because there's a barrier there, so let's just angle it ever so slightly. Oh wait, no. The one-way won't work because we want entrances and exits. I suppose I could two-way it over there. Well, that's fine. Actually, in preparation of expanding on the other side of this highway, let's build an actual avenue. Actually, let's go crazy. Let's build a 6-lane. And let me use the little curly tool to make it vaguely more interesting. And do that, and then what I'm going to do is grab... The 2-lane's going to be fine. Like, I have not felt the need to really use anything much bigger than this. Run sort of parallel to the highway. I'm going to give it a little bit more space. There we go. That way we can still build on the highway and it's fine. Then I'm going to connect up this 6-lane. Like so. And then, yeah, we're going to get some ramps. I mean, people can loop around, so they can sort of kind of get all the directions regardless, but what the hell. So from here, we're going to want to... we'll have some intersection over here. Let me go and pre-place that block. Something like that. And so we want to be able to leave and enter. Slope too steep, really, and occupied. A little disappointing. It's not the end of the world. We'll just separate these out. So if I go here, nope, one more. Here, we'll make a block, say size 3. Stretch that out that way. Bring that in over there. Bit of a wonky corner, but it technically works. And yeah, it's doing that thing where, because of reasons, we don't have our consistent grid, which drives me crazy. I'll go and get a grid ready over here, although I'm going to try to avoid overexpanding too quickly. Jesse sees! Jesse sees all. Thank you for subscribing. You psychic person. And then what I'll do is get another 6-lane connection. Here. So what are we looking for right now? We're looking for commercial. Commercial doesn't seem to be care about noise, so we're going to put it all along the highway. Like that. And then we'll zone in some more offices here soon. And then residential on the other side. So we don't really need to worry about having a connection here to the other side of the highway, because really, it'll be just as fast almost for people to just loop around and get in here, and then leave there. I guess if they want to... Why would they want to go to the other side? Well, then they can always cross over here, and they've got some options. I think we'll actually be okay with just, you know, these two on and off ramps. We'll see how it goes. We need water on the other side. I'm actually surprised... Oh, I was going to say, I'm surprised power is reaching. Apparently it is not. I'm so happy people pointed out that you can have elevated power cables. Since it's that trickery with wells that got me in so much trouble before. Those are actual power, water. We'll need more soon. But there's actually a pretty big gap here still. It's like 200 megawatts, which still represents a lot of stuff. Just we have such a big city right now. Ah, son of a bitch. See, these are the chirps that would be important. I want to have only important chirps on. Or again, that little tab that comes out of the side. Alright. Still some commercial demand. It's the thing I'm the most leery about putting down just because of the noise pollution. Especially over here in sort of an isolated area. What about, maybe we can fit in some commercial over here. What's the zoning looking like right now? Lots of offices and things. Okay, I can work with that. Let's go to the tree line one. What time is it? Okay, so I got another couple hours before I have to be elsewhere. That's not the block shape I want. I want to continue this structure here. Like that. And like that. That works. No! Have I been putting down offices? No, no. Alright, I haven't. I'll surround it with some offices. This will need water. I need tea. Population is dropping a little, but it's not a crisis situation. It's a lot of people just sort of moving, adjusting. I think it mostly represents that we may have hit our cap on our current residential area. We've got no disasters yet. Only 300 dead, and under 300 sick. Fucking amazing. It's like a utopia. We got a couple of buildings on fire here and there. Double check the fire coverage. I don't know if I've checked the police coverage in a while either. We got a few people. Oh, we definitely need a fire station. Here, I'll put it a little bit more inside so it doesn't interfere with some of this other route. And do that because it could be a lot of fire trucks we're reporting on traffics over here. Cross the SE. Are you a StarCraft fan or is the SE something else? I don't know, but thank you for subscribing. So I mean, there's technically coverage. There's a bit of fire hazard. Could I just put a big fire station over here? Let's do that. Excellent, excellent. And this is a small fire station, isn't it? Which made sense at the time. I'm actually going to bulldoze this one and just replace it with a bigger one. Yeah, you're unhappy now, but just wait. Already occupied. Oh, there's a park there. Put it here then. That should work out pretty well. Even cover some extra areas over there. That's a little less than grand. Maybe I'll just... Oh, I shouldn't have bulldozed it. I should have just moved one of these small ones over here. Because apparently there was a bit of need. And then here, I think a big one actually will be quite beneficial. Because it should actually reach quite a bit of stuff. That's making people happy everywhere. We'll put another big one, say, here. Especially if we connect up here. Do I have the curly tool? No, let's get the curly tool going on. Just gotta find a place to cut through here. Give people a way to connect through these two little neighborhoods and then drop a big fire station. Oh, look at this! Just by connecting that, it allows more throughput for some of these the fire maintenance. Oh, wait, no, that was police. Never mind, spoke too soon. Good stuff. Doesn't quite get everything, but I think we'll ultimately be okay. It's got water, yes. I've got a sneeze, yes. Excuse me. Health. A little unhealthiness over here. You know what, with the noise pollution and everything, it was a mistake to build your houses there. We're going to put a park right next to the airport. So again, we're getting a few dips in population. Mostly, a lot has to do with the fact, I think, that we're replacing some of these buildings. Overall, our town should be relatively happy. Health is not perfect. Oh, this is forest access. Which maybe we could use a little more over here. Do I have room for a park? Down at Paradox Plaza right there. And maybe tuck one in right over here. And we're losing some buildings every time I do that. But it improves our city as a whole. We will, of course, need some parks over here. Let me switch to the nice big ones. Something like that. Maybe like that. Okay. Let's go ahead and make a commercial block over here since there's still some need for it. And then even though there's not currently demand for industrial or office, I'm going to make sure to... Oh yeah, keep right-clicking here. And make sure to surround this with a little bit of office zoning. Just to discourage, to make sure we don't have any houses there later on. Do that, and then put in some commercial over there. And we can fit in some commercial over here, since there's demand for it. And population is dropping, but we have no disasters. I think it's just people adjusting. We could replace some of this stuff with high-density commercial. There's not real demand for residential yet. But I think I will do that. What's the zoning situation over here? You're stuck between two commercials, which is far from ideal. There's a little commercial over here, but not much. And here, what I think... Oh, there we go. That'll be a good spot. Using the marquee tool, I'm going to rezone this as a high-density residential. Except, right here, I'm going to make that office, because you were complaining a little bit about noise pollution, so let's put offices right next to the commercial zone over there. So again, we just dezoned some residential, so people will leave, but hopefully they will move in over here. In fact, some people seem to be doing so. And check our population stats. 25% of our population is seniors. I'm pretty sure that's an increase from before. So I'm a little bit worried that people are going to start keeling over from old age, and that'll be another bit of a population switchover, which may be part of what's going on here. And we are getting more births than deaths, so I guess that means some people are getting kicked out of the city. The Black Sea is almost completely black. You guys, we're going to do it. I'm going to turn it completely black. What are you complaining about over here? Not enough educated workers. That's something I haven't looked at in a while. Hang on. Education. So this is the elementary school, so basic education. Do we have... It'd be nice to see zoning here. I'm assuming some of this is residential. No, none of that is, actually. Over here? Nope. Right, I guess there's some color coding. There's some red areas. So do you really not have access to education over here? No, you've got a school. You've got an elementary school right next door. You're not educated because you're just moving in. That's what's going on here. You literally have a school right there. So I guess we'll just look for... I don't know what. Because none of this is as... So the colored buildings will be the residential. And the street color shows access. I guess there's a bit of a lack of access over here. Ah, lots of lack of access over here. There we go. We'll do a pass for high schools in a second. It's a bit weak here. We get a school going. A little bit of overlap, but you know. We've got some residential along the outside of this area that isn't covered. Now, it's pretty low density. Although, here's a little higher density and they're complaining. So let's go ahead and drop that down, at least on this side of things, and it'll help a little on the other side. Okay, let's check the high school situation. They have access. Oh, high school, we are lots of eligibility and not enough capacity. So it's not just a question of access. We actually just need more numbers. What about the elementary school? Actually, it was a very similar sort of thing. So it's not just... We actually just need a few more of them. You have full access. So do you. I mean, ideally, I'm going to put these down where we need more access to things. This seems like a really good spot. Right here, we can even avoid bulldozing a house, which is nice. They got a high school there. Capacity could still use some... Oh, over here we don't have any real high school education. And we probably need a little bit more at this end of town as well. Capacity for 16,000, but 18,000 people are eligible to go to a high school. Already got one over there. Let's just look for a hole. Especially this is going to become a high density later on, so we're going to want a little bit more in that area. It still makes people happy. Continuing to bleed off a few people as mostly we bulldoze all their homes to put down schools and whatnot. I think we're going to tuck one in over here. Oh, it's occupied by something. This is the way. I thank you for the English lessons. Haha! Here's from 0 to good speaker because of your YouTube video. Oh my god, if you're learning English from me, that is not a good sign. And why me? So that was from Jency. And then why me says, see, this is a pre-subscription. The real subscription comes next month. Well, thank you very much. Oh, we have no high school coverage over here. So we're going to want to go and plop a little something, something. Ooh, let's do this because it'll be able to hit a few different areas. All right, we now have a capacity that meets our eligibility. What about university? We've got the capacity. We almost certainly don't have the coverage. And that's pretty clear. So we've got coverage here and here. This is going to be our 4th university? Crazy! So let's go and get one on the shores of Lake Poop. I'm going to figure out a good place to put it down to minimize how many buildings I blow up. You know what? We're going to go right here, near the subway. Students will like that. Okay. How's the demand? We want jobs and we want commerce. So that's good. I mean, it'd be nice to get some residential demand, obviously, because I would like to actually grow the size of the city. But as long as people still want some things, we're doing okay. What is space already occupied by? Oh, is that a school there? I think it is. And there we have a park. So we're going to be forced to make another intersection. Maybe there. I guess that's not the end of the world. Friendly hostile? What kind of name is that? I don't know what to make of you, friendly hostile. Like, I remember, where was it? So, like, visiting an office of, like, the Canadian Department of Defense or something like that, and they had a poster on the wall that says, "Friendly fire isn't," or something like that. I thought, oh, that's pretty smart. That's a pretty witty way of doing it. Friendly fire isn't. Alright, we gotta be... That is an incinerator, so we gotta make sure we don't actually build too much over here. Alright, let's go and plop down some... Commerce, commerce. No, that's offices. Commerce, commerce. Offices, offices. I'm just trying to box in the commerce, basically. We'll probably put in a little bit more commercial over here, actually. That'll be fine. And I think we might benefit from building a big 6-lane road. We'll start with the straight tool. And then we'll switch to the curvy tool and try to make it under the bridge. Alright, maybe a little bit curvier than we would like, but it's going to work. And then we're going to paintbrush in more office there. Maybe a little bit more commercial over here. These new zones. Well, they need water, obviously. Oh, they've got water. How are they on health coverage? See, they probably want a little bit more health. So I'm going to go ahead and put a hospital. I'm going to tuck it down in one of these corners. It might end up with... I don't know how often, like, sick people at the hospital will be a problem. They'll be polluted from the incinerator. I don't know. Maybe this whole area is going to be quite bad. I'm not sure. Belvala! When will we come visit Germany again? Oh, yeah. I don't know, actually. Been to Gamescom the last 2 years in a row, which was pretty excellent. And I would like to continue to do so, but there are currently no immediate plans. Let's do that, and then let's park up the area. Oh, I can't tuck that in. Around the incinerator here. It also says a single row of trees can cut down noise pollution a lot. One more there. And then we'll use some plazas by these commercial districts, because it seems to me like the sort of thing that would make some sense. There we go. Alright, and now residential demand is growing. Even though people are, you know, the population is going down, it's not because they don't necessarily want to live here. I think it's mostly a question of zones and whatnot. Yeah, if you empty your cemeteries into incinerators, you can remove them. And this might be a really good time to do it, since our death care system is doing fine. The number of deceased has gone up. Number of sick people is on an all-time record low, 245. Deceased is going up, but we did know that our population profile, we're now 27% seniors. I think that's actually going to cause a problem. I think that's it. We're sort of getting our seniors kind of clumped up. But let's take a look. Let's find one cemetery and start to empty it, like right over here. Does it have a? No, it doesn't have a crematorium next to it. So I will build one next to it. I think they're technically emptying on different sides of the road. I'm going to empty this thing. And I think it will just, yeah, it will use its own hearses to send bodies to the crematorium. Then we'll be able to delete it and be able to use the space for something else. I hear things upgrading all over their place. Indeed, things are popping up over here. We are missing a little tiny scooch of water. There. So let's get that going. I like the bong when we clicked on the cemetery. That was fun. And then we'll have to notice when it's actually done being emptied. That's the other thing I would like a pop-up for. And I did get one once, like a tutorial kind of pop-up. But I want like an actual pop-up that says, hey, this thing you're emptying is now empty. So maybe you'd like to do something about that. This is starting to look cool. I like this sort of triangle meetup over here. It's starting to look very fun. What a beautiful sunrise. Paradise on Earth. You're goddamn right. Okay, so since we now have some residential demand, I'm going to replace this zone here, which really shouldn't have any noise pollution, with some high-density residential. So we'll get a dip down, and then it should come up as we fill up some slightly bigger buildings. And assuming that works out, I'll do the same thing. Actually, these blocks over here. Yeah, see, they're starting to build right away, which is good. Now, all along, I've sort of been wondering if it might be worth building the blocks sort of like 4 at a time and then leaving some gaps, interweaving them, just to make sure we get like the maximum building placement. But the advantage of not having perfect, 4x4 buildings is you actually get a little bit of variety in your city. So that can be good too. Population continues to dip. But we have no disasters. I think it's just, zoning and whatnot. Wow, things are shiny over here. The upper house, yeah, we didn't even turn it off this time. I've got slightly lower taxes on residential as well, just to try to encourage people to keep coming in here. Looks like people are moving in. Cancel retirement fund, all seniors die. Well, that seems a little excessive, but it sounds pretty good. We should put a policy in. Once you retire, you have to leave town. That's it. No unemployed people. Use solar power? We are using solar power. We've got a little bit of wind from the early days, but otherwise, we are all solar power. Most of our power comes from solar. These solar plants generate a lot more power than the wind turbines at this point, but I may as well leave the wind turbines up because, why not? Power is good. Water is good. Landfill usage, 0%. Do we actually have any landfills left? Like right here. There. Empty finish. They're finished emptying. Yes, I would like to delete this landfill. We're going to reclaim some of this room. Any other landfills still around? We may have only had the one, because you unlock the incinerators quite early. The crematoriums come a little bit later. No. Oh! We have a little bit of a garbage pile up over here. We maybe should use another incinerator. I could put one out over here. Because this is, who cares about the cargo place? I think we're going to do that. You have water coverage? No. You will be connected to the power grid, though, so that's fine. Alright. So we're not doing a lot of aggressive building today. We're just making sure the city stays in good shape. It is. It's pretty good. Traffic jams. I haven't seen one in a while. We haven't done a pass on the traffic mode in some time, though. Maybe we can find some big kerfufflage. Here you can see. Look, it's the 4 lanes. They ruin everything. Look, oh, there's actually a bit of a traffic pileup. Let me actually... Oh, I shouldn't... instead of deleting it, I was going to say, maybe I should just replace it with a 6 lane. Which also creates intersections like the 4 lanes, but at least it's got, the 3 extra lanes in each direction to compensate for that. So it might just generally be better. Also, in hindsight, we don't need to bulldoze it. I could just downgrade it unless I want to do it one way. Police car there. Yeah, see, I honestly think if I were to just replace this, let's do an upgrade to the 2-lane. I'm betting it'll go better. I mean, this is still going to take a while to clear up because that's a bit of a backlog. And yeah, when people are trying to make left turns, it sort of stops traffic for a second, but only for a second. These are way faster than traffic lights. Which doesn't seem right to me. I don't think it should seem right to anyone. But it's doing a much better job of emptying this area than when we had the traffic lights. Now, there's other ways to fix it, right? Part of it is maybe my city is arranged badly in that it's forcing more traffic to drive longer distances. Maybe there needs to be fewer intersections, differently shaped intersections. Look at this. Boom. Traffic is clear. Get rid of a traffic light. Traffic goes away. fixed, sorted, done. Cool. Cool beans. Traffic. So we got, you know, some reddish spots, but that's not particularly bad. That's fine. I don't see any places really stop. That's okay. What about over here? Nope, we're fine. Lots of parked cars, but no real traffic jams. Apparently missing some water. What am I looking for? Traffic. Everything here is like perfectly fine. Oh my god. It's a good thing we go to these alternate modes. They strip down the map enough that you can find these bits that are missing water. I think that's always how I find this stuff. And then just in case we end up building along this highway later on, let's get that tucked in. Oh, a little bit of def over here. Just a bit of def. Let's see how we're doing. Health, deceased 500. That's not bad. Sick, 230. Like, I can't imagine having so few sick people. Now, we have so few sick people, but we still had a little bit of death, and I'm thinking it's probably the fact that we had, you know, maybe a few too many seniors. This is at an office, though. Oh, and it's been picked up. Maybe just took a little while for a hearse to get out here. Do we have a death care provider in this region? Right there. Technically, it doesn't cover this area, and you know what? We're going pretty high density, so let's make sure. How can I minimize my blowing upness in buildings? Let's do that. Let's make sure we've got some redundant cover. Maybe we didn't have enough. Maybe that place was a little overstressed. We have one crematorium supplying this whole area. Maybe that's a little too much as well. Let's go and tick one out over here, right across from the incinerator. That's not nefarious at all. The maintenance on a crematorium is relatively low, I think, too. $720 a week is not too bad. I mean, it's like a quarter the price of one hospital. So you do need a lot more of them. And especially if right now we're getting a bit of an uptick in death. Let's make sure that that's done. But other than that, we're coming together. So I'm liking, now that we're sort of merging these two cities together, things are starting to look a little bit more cohesive here. And if we can tuck in some more buildings, maybe along here. I mean, it's a little leery because buildings along here might cause a little bit of a traffic kerfuffleage. Although, there's no traffic here at all right now, so I think it's pretty safe. What do we have demand for? I suppose we can put in some commercial here, since that's just an office building. Let's go ahead and do some of that. We'll double check that we've got water running along here, too. We'll do some of that. Now, there might, you know, be a little traffic slowdown as deliveries come, but hopefully it's not too bad. And yes, you do have water coverage. We'll make sure to cover the other side of the road, just in case we decide to do anything over there. Future-proof. Actually, it'd be really cool if we get sort of a skyscraper that tucks in there. That would be awesome. Get some offices on the other side. So we have a little bit of demand for everything right now. Population is ticking up very nicely. Looks like the high density has kicked in over here. Now, how are we doing on upgrades of these places? Educate more citizens. Probably the same thing here. Yep. Now, I suspect we have our full education coverage here. Elementary, right here. And technically our capacity is not quite there. We might want to put another one down. High school, we do have coverage from right over here. Capacity is decent. University even get... I think we just have to wait for these people, because these are all new people. They're all new buildings. We just have to wait for them to become educated. But I think I will go ahead and put an elementary school here, because we do have a bit of a capacity thing, and maybe it will help with some of these upgrades anyway. I'm hoping their park availability is good. Everything else is pretty good. The garbage, they're not as bright blue as I might want. And there's a bit of a pileup over here. I think... Oh, man. The range on this incinerator is horrible. I mean, I guess one of the things you could do... No, the garbage dump is just as big. I was going to say, maybe you could have a local garbage dump, fill up there, and then empty it, and then have two garbage dumps that you keep switching back and forth. But no, the garbage dump is, like, just as bad. Just awful. So, I'm trying to build... Sort of tuck in, like, way back here into this intersection. And hope that I can fit the incinerator. I can. So, yeah, ooh. We'll build parks on the other side of the road. And hope that it helps. Like that. Power is connected. Water is connected. Good. And keep that going. Making 32 grand a week. That's with our space elevator. Oh. Oh, are you guys having problems finding workers? And they're all overeducated. We can't find enough dumb workers over here, you guys. Now, what I could do is de-zone this forestry area at this point. I mean, it's in the middle of what's becoming my city. I could de-zone it and just put offices here, which have a much higher capacity and also higher employed workers, of which my people are. We got a lot of highly educated people all over the place. On the other hand, what I can do is a short-term thing. Since if I rezone these areas, people are going to come in uneducated, right? So they can work at the forestry place until they go to school. Mr. Bootsky, thank you very much for subscribing. Do the same thing here. Now, there might be a little bit of a noise pollution thing, but, you know, we'll put up with it, actually. Yeah. Noise pollution isn't as bad as real pollution. I still want to avoid that area. Boom, boom. So every time I replace these blocks, there's going to be a bit of a population change. But our population is actually completely stable right now, which is what's important. I'm going to go and bulldoze these buildings so that they don't bring down the land value. And then, yeah, these people have a bit of a shortage of workers. Now, there's room for another block over here. Let's go and, like, sort of work something out. Obviously, there's pollution there, so we're generally going to want to avoid that. How do I want to do this? Build out straight first. And connect a diagonal that way. Ah, that's kind of cool. And then sort of bring it into here. Fusion power plant for extra tourists and reduced maintenance on multiple power plants. Really? Is that one of the unique ones? There's the Eden project. Greatly increases the city's profile, making land and city more valuable. It's a hell of a lot cheaper than the space elevator, too. Look at that. Because we're paying 16 grand a week for our space elevator. This thing is only 6,400. No pollution or noise pollution. Wow, let's unlock that one. Fusion power plant, 8,000 a week. Power the stars within your grasp, and the energy problems of yesterday are gone once the fusion plant is operational. Offers huge amounts of clean energy without the fear of radioactive fallout or other pollution. Power output, 16,000? Wow, okay. And there's also a Hadron Collider. Place of science. Various research take place there. City with a Hadron Collider does not need to worry about education. The facility provides it for all citizens. What? Why did I build the space elevator? Well, because it was the first thing I could unlock, and it sounds cool. I mean, the advantage of the space elevator is it doesn't require much in the way of, like, water or electricity, I suppose. But Jeebus Christ, the space elevator doesn't do anything for us. I mean, it's bringing in a fair number of passengers to something. I don't know, more tourists for the city, presumably. I have no idea. Okay, so Hadron Collider, free education? The fuck? For everyone? Alright, so construct Colossal Order offices. Now, do we have those unlocked? What do we need? This one we need for... Oh, we also need the Theater of Wonders for the Hadron Collider. So let's go and, like, let's build all the shit that we can. This thing looks cool, too. Wonderful Theater of Wonders has plays from all over the world. Alright. So, I get, you know, maybe we'll spread out. Oh, this is a lot of happiness. And no noise? So we can tuck you in, and we can't not bulldoze anything. And this is industry. I don't know if we want, like, sick people here. Maybe it doesn't matter. Go see a play at this, like, horribly polluted environment. Way over here. We're going to give these people something that's awesome. If we have room, right here. It'll look great next to the highway. It's going to cover a lot of stuff that isn't part of our actual city, though. Okay, I could put it here. Yes, it's near an incinerator. There we go. I like this spot. Right on the corner. Alright, what else can we build? This is required for the Eden project, which we want at some point. Hadron Collider, we need the aquarium. Oh, it's cheap. It's only $3.20 a week. Alright, and yeah, I'm going to text... I want something over here for these people. We might have to bulldoze some buildings. Let's go ahead and let's do that. That's fine. What does it look like? Ah, it's cool! Yeah, everyone coming by the highway will see all of the awesome stuff in our city. So by building more of these, it might provide more stuff for our tourists to see, which might, you know, generate more stuff. The observatory is for the fusion power plant. We're going to hold off on that. I mean, we'll probably want them all eventually. The official park, Eden Project. Ah, there's the Colossal Order offices. HQ of Colossal Order, the super successful games company that makes millions. Required for the Hadron Collider. I mean, the Eden Project is really good too. Everything's good. Maybe right over here. They actually kind of have meh status for some things. These guys live near Poop Lake, so... Alright, we can fit it in here. It doesn't cover this area, though. I think we might have to bulldoze a road. Oh! There is room for stuff. There we go. Boom. Colossal Order offices, right off the shores of Poop Lake. That's a cool-looking building. And the reflections. What's this? Elementary school's on fire. Ah, that couldn't possibly be that bad. So there's the screenshot, the box art. Colossal Order, Poop Lake. What are we missing for the Hadron Collider? Construct Colossal Order offices. I've got that. I don't think that tooltip is showing me everything that's missing for it. So we got all of those. We don't have this, and it's required for the Hadron Collider, the Posh Mall. All tax rates at most 4%. So we have to drop all the taxes down to 4% to unlock the Posh Mall. Probably only for a second here. It's fine, we got millions. We're officially losing money. Now, has this unlocked the Posh Mall? 0 of 20. We're losing 50 grand, 60 grand. Posh Mall, would you unlock, please? Losing 100 grand a week right now. Listen, Posh Mall. Hi, Randmaster. How's it going? I like how we dropped the taxes and people were still leaving. 4%, 4%, 4%, 4%. Ah, I bet you we need to run it for 20 weeks like this. Fucking hell. Okay, so we can't... I don't think we can do this in an already established city. I think what you need to do is, like, start a city, drop all the taxes to 4%, unlock the Posh Mall, and then, you know, go from there. We're not broke yet, but I want a big nest egg in case there's something that goes horribly, horribly wrong again. Now, let's let it run for a little bit longer here. Oh, yeah, poor forestry area. You know what? I'm going to de-zone this whole thing. And we're going to replace it with actual offices. It is time. We have moved past the time of forestry. Time for office buildings. I think we're going to go bankrupt before we unlock this. Alright, we got another week. So, 20 weeks of this. Well, I guess it'll cost us about $2 million. We can technically afford it. Assuming we don't have a massive, massive crash of, you know, of evilness. Population's probably going to be growing while the taxes are so low, I hope. Grumberto! Hey, thank you for subscribing. It's probably time for a break. So, what we can do, I'm assuming we don't have to unlock all this in a row. I can, like, oh. It says 3 of 20, but it's like halfway full. It did say it did say 0 of 6 to start off with, so we may only need to do this for 6 weeks. We might be okay. So far, so good. All right, we're going to get to 6. It might unlock there, because it did say 0 of 6 to start off with. And then we can put our taxes back up. Basically, I'm going to go probably something like 10% everywhere, 12% commercial, 8% residential. So I guess that's not 10% everywhere, but, you know. All right, we'll take a short break now. When we come back, we're going to see if the Posh Mall is going to bankrupt us. See you guys in 2 minutes.